In India, there's a lot of the government pays a lot of money for the players, right? Yeah. Even the tournament we play, they get their food, everything is paid by the government, and even if they win the medal, they're probably gonna get $50,000 or $100,000. But wow. It's a different story in Canada, especially in badminton. We're struggling and we're still growing, so the funding is another problem. And people been telling me there's no money in badminton. Why do you do that? Why you invest so much yourself into that? It's not about money. Yeah, I'm not doing that for money. It's for my passion. And I in 20 years when I will be 55 and 60, and I cannot have this dream again. I cannot tell myself, hey, let's start preparing for Olympics again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Airdrie Inside. I am your host, Chris Glass. We are here at Rivalax once again. If you haven't been to this facility, check it out. You can throw axes downstairs. You can play billiards. They have a dart night that's going great, live music, and some of the best old fashions in the game. So please come on down to Rivalax and check things out. I am here with Rishav Sharma. Rishav, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting to the show today. Thank you.
Britton had me a little bit nervous because he said roll the R, so I was hoping I got that.
You got it perfect.
Perfect. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Rishav, and I'm a Para-Badminton athlete and a badminton coach. I founded Rocky View Badminton Academy, and teaching kids and playing professional badminton for Team Canada.
So we are filming today. We have 3 Team Canada athletes in 3 different sports: hockey, badminton, and heptathlon. So this is pretty exciting. So it's a Team Canada day today.
Glad to be part of that.
So let's talk a little bit about how you got into badminton.
So back in so I'm originally from India. I was born in India, and then started playing there, and was part of an Indian national team, and then moved to Canada in 2016. I don't know if you know, I moved to a town named Fort St. John.
Yes.
Yeah. So I lived in Fort St. John for almost 80 years. So that was a big jump, going from a full-time athlete to Fort St. John.
Fort St. John, yeah.
with no badminton at all. So there was I managed to find a facility or a club, so I used to play there. But that was a big change. But I kept playing, and then I started playing for Canada once I moved here, and then and since then I'm part of the team. And now I'm a Canadian citizen, so I'm allowed to play more championship and the World Championships and Pan Am Games tournaments like that. So
when did you become a Canadian citizen?
2022.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, thank you.
Relatively recent.
Yeah, very recent. Yeah.
What a great gain for our national team. That's excellent.
Definitely.
We got a free agent.
Yeah, no.
So when you were in India, when did you start playing badminton? When did that start clicking for you?
So I was in I would say I was 11 years old, and in my school there's kids were playing badminton, and I was walking by, I've seen people playing badminton, so I wanted to give it a try. And I asked my school teacher, hey, can I give it a badminton? But in the beginning it was really hard. Being a person with a disability, there was always a doubt. You can't really play, it's a sport, you can't really play with one arm. So that was a big challenge at the beginning, but I was like, it's like I have to give it a try. So I said, can I maybe be a fifth spare player on your team? And then my coach did the trials, and I was part of my team. And in the next year, I actually managed to beat my old captain and stayed the school captain for the remaining years, and then ran the team there. Yeah.
And how old were you when you moved to Fort St. John?
19.
19. So just as you're in your prime as an athlete, you moved to a new country, and then you moved to a city that has a much smaller community when it comes to badminton, I would assume.
Absolutely, yeah. It was so in India, I was training like almost 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, before school, after school, before college, after school, and shifting that from 4 hours a week. So that's Wednesday night 2 hours and Sunday night 2 hours with a small community club and not that much like training and stuff. So it was a big shift.
First of all, did anybody beat you in Fort St. John? Did you win every match with your experience level, or?
Like there was one guy. His name Gene Johnston. He was the best guy in Fort St. John with badminton, and he actually ended up being my coach for those 8 years. So,
oh wow!
So
Okay.
yeah, he had his little project on me training in the gym, and in the summertime when the school closed, he worked in a shop, so we actually used his warehouse back, and then in the summertime when the school was closed, he managed to set up a badminton net in the back. So I was playing whole summer in the back of his shop, and then 2 months later in September, I was playing a international tournament in Japan.
Oh wow!
So yeah.
So when did the international side come in to play in Canada? So you said that he coached you for 8 years there.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start playing at the provincial national level?
So in Canada, my first international tournament I played into 2017. So as a as a resident of Canada, I was allowed to represent Canada in the tournaments, but not the world championships and stuff. So I was still representing Canada in tournaments. So my first tournament in 2017 was in Colorado Springs, USA.
Wow.
So there I played represent the first time Canada. And the thing was, once you represent a country, you cannot switch back for next 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And I realized, and I didn't know that. So after playing my first international tournaments, and then they announced Paralympic badminton is going in Paralympics in 2020, and that was I was like, no, there's no way back.
Oh wow!
So yeah, and then since then I've been part of the team, and then been playing representing Canada. Yeah.
So in 2020, were you able to represent Canada in the Paralympics?
I didn't actually participate in the Paralympics in 2020 and because I was an artist citizen, and it's a long journey especially in all the sports to get more points and get qualified for Olympics. But now the goal is for 2028 LA.
Okay. And so what is the preparation for that now? Because now you live in Airdrie.
Yes.
You work in Cochrane.
Yes.
But Airdrie is a much larger place, and you're closer to Calgary, which has more training facilities. What does your training look like for 2028 right now?
So I'm now part of a club, Glencoe Club in Calgary.
Yeah.
So they have like best coaches I would say in the city, and I'm lucky to be part of their club. And now I'm just training with the coaches there. I go do, even this morning I did my morning session 6 to 8, and then I go to work from there, and then I come back in the evening. I coach in Airdrie. I run the Rocky View Badminton Academy, so I run classes in Cochrane, Airdrie, and Carstairs. So today I've trained in downtown this morning. Went to work Cochrane, and then now going to Carstairs for the coaching kids.
So my question for you is, what kind of car do you drive? What kind of fuel mileage do you get? Because you were going downtown, Cochrane, Carstairs, Airdrie. You're driving a lot.
That's true, and so I have two, one gas and one electric.
Ah, there you go.
So right now I'm really happy with the EV I'm driving.
I was gonna say that makes good sense to have an EV as much as you drive.
Yeah, but so trying my best to play more, do more training sessions in a week, and when I'm not coaching or working in the weekends, I spar with the other players in the city and do a couple hour training with them.
So tell me a little bit about the Rocky View Academy.
So yeah, in 2023, when I moved to Airdrie, and I noticed there was a lot of badminton clubs in Calgary. There's tons, and just around the Calgary, like in Rocky View area, we didn't really have many badminton places for the kids to play. There were some places for adults to go and do drop-ins, but nothing really for the kids. So I came up with the idea because I didn't want to offer the program just in Airdrie, because I see there was no badminton in Cochrane, there was no badminton in Carstairs.
Yeah.
So I named the club Rocky View Badminton Academy, and I was like, okay, I live in Airdrie, I'll coach in Airdrie. I work in Cochrane, I coach in Cochrane, and then Carstairs came in my mind because some of the parents were bringing their kids from Carstairs to Airdrie, and they asked, hey, can you do your lessons in Carstairs? I said, Tuesdays are free. So I managed to add Tuesdays for Carstairs. So yeah, it's been going good. I would say with the Rocky View Badminton Academy, I have about 80 to 85 players,
Wow.
including 3 cities. So, and coaching Monday, Tuesday, pretty much all the week.
Now, is that for beginners or is that for high power, like high profile athletes?
So right now it's mostly beginner to intermediate level. In Airdrie, now I'm because in the 2023 it was mostly just a beginner, and now I have more players and I have players been playing with me. So now I have a competitive group as well. So competitive group is a different one from the beginner. So every two classes a week for the competitive and also for the beginners. So I do coaching for the kids 8 to 16 years old. If anybody who never even played badminton, they're also welcome. And even if they have a provincial experience or any competitive level experience, they're also welcome. And so.
Very cool. So you are a busy man. So training for 2028, training athletes to potentially compete in 2028 as well. Where does the love of badminton come from? Because you wouldn't be doing this if you didn't love the sport.
Totally, yeah. So I always loved this sport, and I grew up playing this sport, and when I moved to Canada, this was the thing I noticed. Like badminton wasn't really it's now getting very popular, and but it can be much bigger. So my goal is to make this sport as big as I can and make it available in for everybody, for small kids, small communities, and that's why my goal is to just spread the badminton for anyone, even for the sometimes parents said, hey, he don't even have a racket. Said just send your kid. I'll have a racket ready for him. Yeah. So that's my goal. Goal is to the sport that gave me everything, and that's who I am right now, and that's why I want this sport to be grown in the future. So yeah,
that's really cool. What is the biggest tournament you've played at? What is the highest level you've been at? I know 2028 is the goal, but what's the highest you've been at so far?
So last year October I represented Canada in the Pan Am Badminton Championships. It was in Sao Paulo, Brazil. That was my first Pan Ams, and I got 2 golds.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Good
I go gold in singles and gold in doubles too. And I remember playing the final against the Brazil team. It was the home crowd. and I was telling myself, I don't want to look at the crowd.
Yeah, and Brazil's not known for passive fans on anything. They're very passionate people.
They are very passionate people. It was a very good experience playing against the home team, and 100 of audience just supporting Brazil, and they're 5 Canadians. Go Canada! That was really good, and so that was one of the big one. And recently in February, I played Para-Badminton World Championships in Bahrain.
Okay.
So I was in Bahrain in February, so I got lucky. I left on 15th.
Yeah, it's good timing.
Good timing. Lucky. Yeah. So and that was my second World Championships. I played first one in 2022, and this one was my second World Championship I played for Canada, and it was a great experience.
Now, getting to Los Angeles, what's next? So 2027, is that the qualifying year, or does that qualification process start now?
So it is actually now. It's going on right now. More tournaments we play, more points I'll get, and then eventually those points will decide who qualified and who's not. So it is a kind of every month there is a tournament, and with the busy schedule with work and coaching, I'm kind of juggling things around, and whichever tournaments I can make it. And so my next one, I'm planning on going to France in June.
Oh,
and
wow.
There's another couple in Brazil again, in Peru. So kind of making a list ahead of the years. This is my 2025 tournaments, and then next year will be 2027, and then it's just an ongoing process, and cutoff will be I would say close to end of the 2027.
Now, who are your competitors in Canada? Who are we competing against?
So in Canada, in para-badminton, we don't really have many players in my category, but in the, I would say, if outside of Canada on the world stage, mostly Asian countries, I would say China, Japan, even India. So when I was in India, I was playing again, I was training there, and So, and now when I go to compete those tournaments, I see my old buddies from India. And it was funny one time, I think last year in Japan, I played against my old buddy from India. And then it was, he kind of laughed at me. He said, yeah, we are repeating this game after 8-10 years.
Now, who won?
I won.
Yeah, there you go. That's good. Go Team Canada. I like it.
Yeah. So it was very good. Yeah.
Excellent. So, and then after 2028, I know that's kind of a lofty goal. Where do you see the Rocky View Academy going?
Goal is to make this club bigger and have more availability. So because right now, like I have parents reaching out, and the only problem I'm running into is just the venue and the timing. So my goal is to because right now it's just me. The goal is to add more team members and instructors, and so more days, more space for players to play, and then it's just kind of running a badminton network in Rocky View, and even now I'm trying to do a mini tournament once a year, Airdrie versus Cochrane and Carstairs, and so kids coming from those communities, and it gives a very different feeling for them. I'm from Team Cochrane, I'm Team Airdrie, so building this little competition in the little kids and giving them the opportunity to interact with the players from the other communities. So that's my goal, is to keep pushing the badminton in the community.
What do you think the biggest challenge the sport is facing?
Overall in
either locally or in Canada, either way, however you interpret that question.
So I would say, like on my currently with my current experience, the struggle is it's scheduling and finalizing the space, because we're renting the school gyms and the rec centers, and of course there are a lot of other sports. They're also trying to get the space with the limited. It's very competitive. I have to for next year's winter session, I have to prepare now and look for the dates to see if the facility is available. And so that's one of the struggle I face right now.
And you said mostly school gyms and
the rec centers.
And rec centers.
Yes.
Excellent. So hopefully with new rec centers coming online, I don't know what Cochrane has in the go, but I know we have the Southwest Rec Center coming online here in 2029. So hopefully that opens up some more gym space.
Oh, absolutely. Looking forward to that. I'm actually very glad. That way we will have one in the north end of the city, and then the one will be in the south now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So where can people go to find more information about yourself and your journey, and where can people find information about the Rocky View Academy?
So we're on Facebook and Instagram, and they can Google it, Rocky View Badminton Academy, and we post lessons, instructions for the kids, how to learn, what we're doing, what tournaments coming, what programs are coming. They're all on our social media page, and also I have my own Facebook and Instagram, and where I post my journey and my past tournaments and the future coming ones. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, on behalf of the show, I wish you the best of luck. I know all of Airdrie is behind you, and soon all of Canada will be behind you in 2028.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, and we're going to be back with more great episodes coming up shortly.